Hi everybody, welcome back to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name's Ruth and I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader, and I'm just in the process of completing your intuitive readings for this time period between the 25th of July and the 8th of August. And I was inspired actually to include some Reiki, some distant Reiki in your readings again this month. Now, I've only done this once or twice before, and I think only once before actually, and it went down really well. But it dawned on me today that I never really talk about Reiki on my channel and what it is to be a Reiki master, and also how you can connect with your distant Reiki. So, if those people who aren't, aware of how Reiki works, I just thought I'd give you it's very simple and straightforward how you can connect to your Reiki session. Now, as I said, I'm a Reiki master, so I've got 3 of these certificates. Okay, I've got one for first degree, I've got one for second degree. You do 3. Hang on, let me find it. There we go. So you do your first degree, which is like your basic, Reiki, which everyone. If I was a king of the universe, I would make sure that everyone did Reiki level 1 because it's such a healing thing. So I did. This is all in 1 year. In 2015, I did these, and oh my god. So that's my first degree. Shoden, and then Okuden, which is my second degree, which is in again in April. God, it was this year nearly killed me. And then this is my final one. This is my Shimpiden, and this is it's hard to achieve actually. It's quite because Reiki is self-healing first and foremost. It's developed for self-healing. And so I have to go through all of the different levels, if you will, the different energy levels, and understand them and be able to use them and obviously apply them and to teach them. So Reiki stands for universal energy, as in Key Wisdom Tarot. And we can perform it hands-on. So if you were in front of me, I could perform a Reiki treatment on you. Or we can do that. I can perform it on myself, obviously, and I can perform it at a distance for anybody. I did actually once do that. I did that actually for a client of mine, actually, on Key Wisdom Tarot, and he was on holiday in Spain, and I said, "Oh, go on, I'll try it." I said, "I've not done it, I've not done it for ages, but I'll try it." I said, this was earlier this year, and let's just say I actually visited him in spirit, if you will. I visited him in spirit on his holiday. It was quite nice, actually. And then I recorded personally my feet, what I'd experienced during this Reiki session at a distance. And then the next day, I was like, right, okay, so what did you feel? What happened? And he was like, oh, this and this. And I said, oh my God, that's exactly what I saw when I was doing the Reiki. So it does work. So what does it mean, Reiki? So as I said, it stands for universal energy. And for me, people talk about healing hands, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you for me how it works and how I understand it. The whole universe vibrates a frequency, and you can find that out. You can Google it. What frequency is the universe currently vibrating at? And you can find that out. It's in hertz, and if we translate those hertz to terms that we can all understand, it's around about a C minus. Okay, around about a C minus. That's the vibe, the literal vibe of the universe. And for Reiki masters and people who practice mindfulness and meditation, what we do is we not slow our body down, but we sort of are in pace or in vibe with that frequency. So my aim in practicing mindfulness, in practicing meditation, and in practicing Reiki is to vibe as close as I can to that frequency. And that means that I'm in tune and in line with the universe. That means that I can engage with the astrology, the universal energy, the shifts in energy. That's how I work. So Key Wisdom Tarot, for those people that have seen on my Instagram, the basis is mindfulness, meditation, Reiki, and tarot. So it's all of those 4 things that create the work that I do, or that feed into the work that I do. So we try to vibe at this frequency at C minus, if you will. And you can find out, as I said, you Google it now. Google what frequency does the earth vibrate at, what's the current frequency, and as I said, it's around C minus. So my aim, my role, my job meditating and as a Reiki master is to vibe as close through mindfulness, through meditation, through practice to that frequency as possible. Now, when I work with a client, either, as I said, one-to-one, you're in front of me, I work with you, or at a distance, my aim is to help you to vibrate at my frequency, i.e. at the universal frequency, at the universal energy frequency. So if you think about it, you know the drill, you all did science at school, and you've got two things vibrating. One's vibrating slowly, one's vibrating quickly, and they come into contact with each other and they affect the movement of each other. And that's really how Reiki works. That's how I understand it to work. Now, you'll read in books, just like I did when I was doing my practice and I was doing my training, about light and about bringing in energy and about giving that energy out. And I'll explain it as clear as I can. When we meditate, so those people that have read, or any part of, well, I don't know how many people have actually read it, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And it basically talks about, it talks about many things in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's basically a tome, a book, about meditation, basically, and how to get yourself prepared for that moment of passing, a moment of death. Anyway, so it talks about the different forms of meditation in a nutshell. It doesn't, but it kind of does. And one of the things that the most basic tool for meditation that we have to adapt, so that we have to use when we start meditation, is to imagine, is to be able to picture in our minds. So we picture something in our mind and we imagine it. Now, that is, to be able to do that, we have to do that consistently in order to then move on to the next form of meditation, which is, we're talking about Buddha bodies and all that stuff, so I won't go into the details in that. But basically, that form of, if you will, imagination is what we have to do originally in Reiki. And some people still might understand and believe and think that Reiki is like that, and that's absolutely fine. It works for them, that's absolutely fine. For me, I understand it in a different way, because I always say to you guys, I experience the energy. So my experience of the energy and of working with energy that is how it works for me. So then how does it work at a distance? So at a distance, what I would do is I do a Reiki session. So I prepare, I sit and I meditate. I meditate here actually at the desk, or I just did. And I do a Reiki called Hatsure Ho, which is it's called dry bathing, basically. You can Google it if you want to see a video about it, if you want to. It's very straightforward. But that's something that I started doing in 2015, as I said, and I do it pretty much every day, or most days, or sometimes I didn't do it at all because it was too intense. But anyway, so I practice. I first of all do that, connect to Reiki, and then I basically perform a Reiki session. So I sit here by myself and I perform a Reiki session. So I'm a Reiki master, so I don't do you can sort of, if I was working with a client, for example, and a client said to me, a client in, I don't know, Australia said to me, Ruth, I've got a problem with my knee. I would imagine her, picture her body, and I would direct the energy to that area that he or she has specified. But when I do a session for everybody, it's a free session for everybody, I basically perform a Reiki session in my imagination. So I'm sitting there and I meditate, and then I see the person there, and I basically bathe this person in Reiki. And then you would say, well, how do I access that Reiki then, Ruth? So you've performed this Reiki session, Ruth, and it's out there in the ether. Okay, it's been created and it's been performed in the ether. How do I access it? So how do you access it? Well, in the readings that I do, so I'm doing these readings between the 25th and the 8th of July, 25th of July and the 8th of August. So in meditation yesterday, it came to mind that there's going to be 3 different areas, times within the readings that I perform, that the Reiki will be activated. Okay, so, and I'll tell you those as the reading comes, but basically these are the things. So I wrote them down. So yeah, these are all my notes. So Reiki, sun, number 4, and repeating numbers. Okay, so the appearance of the sun, or the mention of the sun in a reading, the appearance of the number 4 in the reading, or a repeating number. So a repeating number for you. And that can be within the reading, or that can be, so you've been seeing 111. I've been seeing 111 a lot, actually, the last couple of weeks. You've been seeing 111, and then in the reading you see 111, and that's a personal thing for you, and that means that your Reiki is activated in that reading. Now, when will you actually receive the reading? The reading. When will you actually receive the Reiki? When will you actually receive that healing? Well, you will receive that healing at a time when it's appropriate to you. So when I intend, so it's all about our intention as well. So when I as I said, do my meditation beforehand and do the session, I intend that the reading is, and this is for every Reiki session ever performed, or should be. Reiki is performed for your highest good, okay? So that means that you will get the Reiki, the amount of Reiki that's appropriate for you, and then you will also receive it, and I also intend this, for a time when it is appropriate for you. So you might be, I don't know, at work watching this reading, or on the bus watching this reading, or listening to this reading, driving the car, and you see the number 4, you're not going to get blasted with Reiki right then. It means that your energy has basically, you're connecting to that energy. You're saying, okay, I want to connect to this energy. I intend to connect to this energy. And therefore, at a time when it's appropriate to you, maybe you'll be sunbathing, maybe you'll be lying on the couch, maybe you'll be in bed, maybe you'll be just about to go to sleep. Whenever is appropriate for you, the session, the Reiki, the healing, you will receive that healing at that time. And the thing about, how does it work, Ruth? Why does it work, Ruth? The thing about time is it's not actually, it's something that we construct. It's something that helps us as humans to live and to interpret the world that we live in. So we have to try to sort of place, well, what is the past and what is the present? It helps us as humans to navigate the world that we live in. But the universal energy is a far different thing that we are all connected to. So this life force runs within us, within you. And this is something that connects us all and connects everybody. So it's not a sort of a time-sensitive thing, is Reiki. It's not a time-sensitive thing. It's something that is constant. Reiki energy is universal energy. The universe is constant. Once Reiki energy doesn't exist anymore, then the universe will cease to exist as well. It's a constant. It's the one constant. And you are connected to that constant always and forever. And even if you're consciously aware of that or not. And that's, if you will, life, if you will. That's life. That's life force. That's, as I said, the universe, the presence of it. So that's why it's not time sensitive. So if you would like to encourage the Reiki, so if you're in a place now where you're wanting to, you have to watch the readings. I say that you have to watch the readings because that's the intention. So I wasn't planning necessarily on including Reiki in this set of readings. It just so happened that when I started filming them yesterday, I started on the Monday. When I started filming the readings yesterday, and I always, as I said, begin with meditation before I start recording. When I started recording the readings, it was clear at that point, when I started meditation in preparation, it was made clear to me, don't ask me how, but that these readings should include Reiki. And that these readings for this time period should include Reiki. So you should watch it. The healing readings, they came through as healing readings anyway. Not specifically, this is going to happen, you're going to meet this person, you're going to feel. It's not like the readings aren't coming out that way this month. They're coming out as, it's like karmic cycle completion and new karmic cycles beginning, and the sort of energy that takes and that goes into that, and the sort of internal processes that are occurring within you and how you're releasing things and things like that. So this is why I don't know, I don't question the universe, I just follow the instructions. So so you have to watch the reading. Maybe not, or I don't know. You see, you feel, if you're drawn to watching it, watch it. Whichever sign it is, if you're drawn to watching it, watch it. And then you, as I said, you can intend. Then you can say, if you're in a comfortable position, comfortable spot, and you're ready to receive your Reiki, you feel like, okay, I'm in a good place, I want to receive this now. Then you can, get yourself in a comfortable position and in meditation, ask to receive your Reiki, and trust that you're going to get it. I mean, it's not as if it's not there. And remember what I said to you about the importance of imagination. You know, that's the first key, if you will. And not key is in key, you know, a key. You know, it's the first key to unlocking your intuition. Your imagination is the first key that you have, that we all have, to unlocking our intuition, to unlocking our connection to our inner selves, to that feminine wisdom, and that feminine understanding, that innate wisdom that we all come to have within us. And that is a direct connection to our life force, our ki, our chi. It's the same thing, ki and chi. Our ki and chi and our energy, okay? So your imagination is important. And as I said, I've left the Tibetan Book of the Dead is downstairs. I would have read you the extract in it that talks about imagination. I might find it and post it on my Instagram for those people that are interested, or on my Facebook, what it says. But it's so important is our imagination. That's the key to unlocking our intuition. It's the key to unlocking, as I said, that connection between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, and our unconscious mind, i.e. what goes on in our mind when we're not actually thinking of stuff. Well, you can achieve that. You can get to know that, and you can get to understand that. And the first step to understanding that is by your imagination. So imagine, if you want to imagine, you know, you want to lie down, you want to or sit in a chair, get comfortable, say, I'm ready to receive my Reiki. You can imagine me there. You know, I won't tell you what I picture, because, you know, but it's very, you know, clean space, if you will, and just one person, and, you know, light from above, and you being filled with light, your whole body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, you know, being basically filling slowly with this light, with this healing light, this healing energy. Okay, so you can imagine, if you want to, that type of thing in your mind. You can lie there and you can picture being bathed in light, or you can picture somebody actually physically. If you've had a Reiki session before, you can imagine that. You can conjure that image in your mind of you know, me or somebody else standing at your shoulders, putting their hands on your shoulders and you know, imbuing you with energy. However you imagine it, you can imagine it. And if you have, you know, it'll be interesting to see how you respond to the Reiki. I know last time that I did this, as I said, I've only done this once before. I think it was just before I went on holiday in April. And a lady contacted me, and she actually sent a donation, bless her, and she said, you know, her mother, because I intend it's for your highest good, and that might not be you. It might be someone in your family, in your circle, you know. And she said that her mother had a marked, you know, improvement. There was actually 2 or 3 people actually that contacted me about different people that had benefited. They'd benefited directly, and people in their lives had benefited from the session that we did on that video. So I just thought I'd do this little video just to give you that little bit of an insight. And as I said, I am a Reiki master, and I never talk about Reiki, but it's very important to me. It's very precious to me, is Reiki. I feel like there's so... in my mind, what I say to myself is, I don't want to add to the noise. There's no point me saying stuff that's been said, because I feel like it's like when you go to university and you do a master's degree, you know, you're at that stage, or a PhD, you're at that stage developing, you've got the skills, and you've done the learning, and now it's about developing your own theory. It's about developing your own practice. It's about developing your own investigations at master's level. And that goes for university, and it also goes for the master teacher level of Reiki. You know, for me, I remember when I did my Reiki, when I finally completed my masters, and Anne said to me, she was my Reiki master who taught me, and who performed the empowerments, radio empowerments, and me. She said to me, you know, this is where your learning begins, and as I said, that was back in 2015, and that was something that really stuck with me. That just because I now have read the books and done the work, it doesn't mean that, you know, that's not where it stops. You know, I'm not just like, okay, I've got this information now, I'll just give people Reiki treatments. For me, it wasn't about that. Reiki was never about that. It was always about the learning, the healing, the depth, the roots, the substance. Where does that come from? Why does that come from there? I mean, incidentally, I'm going on a bit. I've got more filming to do. Incidentally, actually, the radio empowerments that we receive. So it says here, It says on here, Ruth Odudu is qualified to teach all levels of Usui Reiki system of natural healing, having received radio empowerment, attunement, and instruction, and having satisfied the requirements of this level. Now, the empowerments, if you will, and the attunements are actually mentioned in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is a text. It's the Tibetan title for the Tibetan Book of the Dead is Liberations Through Healing. Okay, that's what it's about. So it's about. I want to go downstairs and get it, but I won't. The Liberations Through Healing. I can't remember the rest of the title. It's really long. Anyway, but the empowerments that we perform in Usui Reiki are the same, or come from, or mentioned in, or talked about in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is based on, it's written in the 11th century, and it's based on the Nyingma, I'm not tribe. The Nyingma school. That's the word I'm looking for. The Nyingma school. The Nyingma school of mindfulness was basically originated in. It's basically the traditional school. It's the traditional school, the most traditional form of Buddhism, and the oldest form that came out of India. And, you know, from, what do they call those people that, not pilgrims, those people that come and they spread the word about something, whatever that word is, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, so this guy, I mean, I can't remember if his name was actually Nyingma, I think it was, and he came out of India in the 11th century, travelled over to Tibet, and the stuff in the Tibetan Book of the Dead came from, as I said, the traditional school, from India into Tibet. They wrote and developed this Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is about the practices of meditation and mindfulness, the most traditional and ancient forms. Now, the empowerments that we receive and the attunements that we receive as Reiki masters come from the Nyingma school, which is from the 11th century. Well, it precedes the 11th century, actually, but I just say the 11th century because that's when it's written down and we've got a record of it. So, or the record that I've got of it, if you will. So it's very ancient, even though Mikao Usui developed. So Mikao Usui was only born in 1865. He was born in the 19th century in Japan. And he developed himself Reiki. He developed Reiki himself. He was a well-known healer back in the day, as in his lifetime, in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. And he developed Reiki first of all to help individuals, himself, and then he was asked by the army to develop a system where they could use a type of healing to take away the pain of soldiers during battle on battlefields, blah, blah, blah. That's how Reiki, as most people know it today, exists, and that's why it exists as it does. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you all this about Reiki, but I don't know why I'm going off on tangents, but what Mikao Usui did is he used those traditional techniques in order, so again, from Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, to traditional Nyingma school of Buddhism, of mindfulness and of meditation, and the practices that they used, he used them also in order to help to connect with the energy, further his energy. And there's all these, different links between, Reiki and the practices of different martial arts, of Qigong, of Tai Chi. There's all the similar, because a lot of those practices, again, the basis within them come from the same place: Nyingma school, traditional school, traditional Buddhism, traditional Tibetan Buddhism, which comes from the India, so blah, blah, blah. So it all comes from that same place. That's the foundation of these things. They're all pinned together by the same principle and practices of, as I said, mindfulness, and of these type of attunements and empowerments. Anyway, I might do another video on Reiki at some point, but I've got to do the readings now. So I'm going to finish off the readings because otherwise they won't all be up for Wednesday, and I want them all up for Wednesday at 8 p.m. UK time. So I hope you enjoy your Reiki session. I hope you love it. I enjoyed performing it myself. I feel very healed and very uplifted and very, very good. And I will just, I hope you love the readings, and let me know beneath the videos, beneath your individual star sign video or beneath this video, what you felt, if you felt anything. And as I said, remember the significance of your imagination, your ability to imagine, because I've done the session. It's there for you. it's there for you to have that session. It's there for you. Anyone who watches this, I suppose, as well, you can do the same. You can connect to that. But yeah, definitely watch these videos, because I think that, as I said, it was inspired by these, so I reckon you must watch these videos as well. And you let me know how you get on. Okay, I'm going to get on with actually doing the rest of the videos. Otherwise, we ain't going to have no Reiki, no nothing. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Oh, no, Tiny's hiding. He looks right cute. He's had a haircut. I will see you all again very soon on my channel. And as I said, keep me posted and give this video a thumbs up. And let me know if you're interested. And let me know, if you want to know anything more about Reiki. Even though I've told you everything about Reiki. All right, take care, my lovelies. I'll see you all soon. Bye.